So a great way that I've been passing time is playing music. Big music fan. To me, music is food for the soul. So if you're not listening to music, if you don't like a variety of music, then you're missing out on a meal and you're not feeding your soul. So it very much matters what you're feeding your soul and how you consume it. I personally like to consume it in a variety of ways. You know, I like tactile, physical media, as well as I like using my phone or streaming it. I do prefer some of the over the other, but I always feel like there's going to be different music I listen to. I'm sure you guys feel this way. When I'm ripping down the highway at exorbitant speeds with the top down and my hair on fire, right? I'm going to listen to something differently, and I'm going to listen to different types of music than I'm going to listen to, say, when I'm home and I'm chilling, right? The music that I listen to when I'm home and chilling, in this case, during a quarantine, is often quite a bit different than what I'm listening to driving down the road and there's different thoughts in your mind and you're trying to get somewhere, whatever. You're just in a different mood, different place, whatever. Even if you're not driving fast, whatever it is, it's just a different experience. These are going to be vinyl recommendations. In other words, if you don't have a record player, you don't listen to vinyl, maybe it's not your thing yet, because it will be, trust me, then I say get on it, because it is a different experience. And it's not, well, some people would argue it's better, but it's certainly not worse than, you know, listen to your streaming. It's just different. It's a different experience. It has to do with appreciation, has to do with having, it's more of an art form. You're enjoying a piece of art and you're enjoying it in its entirety. You're not just taking segments of it and consuming it. Anyway, so I want to give you, there's like 10 records here that you, if you don't have them already, you should get it, check it out. And I promise you that you will find the experience enjoyable. So these are records, no specific order. Let's start with Louis Armstrong at the Crescendo. Now, what year is this? That is a great question. I believe it's definitely the 50s. I believe it is 55. I believe this is 55. I'm not 100% sure. Regardless, this is old Satchmo. Louis Armstrong, one of the best, one of the most influential artists of all time. And I love these old Decca recordings. Sounds great. And plus, to me, it's like vintage, antique. One of the greatest of all time. There it is. January 21st, 1955. Fantastic recording. Sounds great, at least in my opinion. And Louis Armstrong. I'm always a big fan of live music, especially when it comes to vinyl records, because I feel like that's the whole point of that organic experience, that because you're listening to a record, it should sound as close to you being in the room with that artist at that point in time, in this case January 22nd or 21st, 1955, as humanly possible. And this does. This sounds fantastic. Highly recommend it. Bam! Next. All right. Let's do a little blues action, shall we? So let's give you some blues. Now, these are like three of the Godfathers right here, and it's all in one record. This is called the Super Blues Band by Checker Records. I'm not sure what year this is. I'm guessing the mid to late 60s. 67, there you go. 1967. You've got Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, and Bo Diddley all playing on the same record together in harmony as an ensemble, and it is remarkable. I do what I can. You will thank me later. You're welcome. This is awesome. Check it out. The Bluesman. I dig it. All right. Speaking of concerts and live music, you cannot have any sort of music recommendation list without including the chairman of the board, Frankie himself, Sinatra. So there's a million Sinatra records. You know, I can't tell you which one to avoid. They're all pretty good, but this happens to be a concert, and the way I don't know if you can see this, but you can see how they assembled this. You have the band in the background, the orchestra in the background, you have all the microphones deep down the pit there. You can kind of see on this side too, and this is a little segment of how they describe it. how they recorded it. And it's right down in the nitty-gritty with the orchestra. And it sounds like it. It sounds like you're right there in the room with them. Fantastic. Old Blue Eyes, and his voice is phenomenal on this, as it is on every recording. And check it out. You've probably already seen this, is my guess. But if not, you know, do it again. Okay. Look, I gotta be honest. If you have not seen this record before, if you have not heard this record before, you know what? I don't know. You might be 20. Maybe you've never heard of this before, right? Maybe you're 5. You've never heard of it. All right? But don't say no one showed you this record. Maybe you grew up with people who didn't listen to music. Where was that? I don't know. Maybe you didn't have like a big brother, a big sister, or somebody that, you know, kind of show you what music was, and you didn't, you know, just default to top 40 music like so many people do nowadays. Led Zeppelin 4, 1971, I believe. You know, in the catalog of Zeppelin, this to me is the best of the best. Sure, it's got what many consider to be one of the top 5 songs of all time in Stairway to Heaven. Sure, it's got that, but it's also got The Levee Breaks. It's got Black Dog. It's got Four Sticks. It's got Going to California. Okay? It's got Misty Mountain Home. Did I leave anything out? Yes, I'm sure I did. Point is, it's ridiculous, and you need to listen to it. I don't care which recording it is. Yes, some sound better than the others. This is actually the reissue, which some people say doesn't sound that great compared to the original, but I think it sounds pretty good. Regardless, it doesn't matter. I don't care how you listen to it. Go check it out. And again, to most of you, I'm preaching to the choir here, but to the ones that don't know, this is for you. There's no sense being ignorant anymore. Check it out. All right. Speaking of epic live performances, this is one of my favorites of all time. Now, the Stones, the Rolling Stones, to be specific, are my favorite band of all time for many reasons. There are many reasons for that, but one of them is that I believe, and it's proven true to be in my experience. I've seen a lot of shows, and I've seen them 7 or 8 times live, and I've seen a lot of different bands live. It's proven to me, and through what I've read as well, that the Rolling Stones are the greatest live band of all time. And to me, if you're going to experience music, that's the entire point of music. Great, you can record it in a, anybody can record something in a studio and make it sound a certain way, Take my voice and do that, for shit's sakes, okay? But if you can't experience it live, then it's a different thing. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but it's something different. To me, music is meant to be experienced live. It's meant to make your hair stand up on your arm. In fact, that's the barometer to me of what a good show is. If my hair stands up on my arm for a certain period of time, then that's how that's the indication of a good show to me. Get your yayas out. The Rolling Stones in concert in 1970 at Madison Square Garden, New York City. And this is my favorite live album, I think, ever. And there are ones that are close, but this, to me, is the greatest live album ever. All their hits up to that point are pretty much on there. Jumpin' Jack Flash, Midnight Rambler, which sounds amazing on this. They even do some covers of Chuck Berry, which are ridiculous, like Little Queenie and Carol, But the whole, from top to bottom, this is awesome. Got experience, and it should be in record. You should have it on vinyl, because that's where it sounds like you're in the room with them at Madison Square Garden in 1970 when they were kicking severe ass. You're welcome. Okay. Masterpieces. Here's some more jazz for you. Okay, we'll mix it up, mix and match. Now this is cool. I stumbled upon this because I was watching a recommendation video like this. And the story goes, this is Duke Ellington's Masterpieces, and the story goes, long story short, he recorded this in 1950. And recorded at a time where they were just coming out with 33s. So before, the format was smaller, so you couldn't fit longer recordings on it. So all his, live, improv stuff that he would do in his live performances that were so great, and that he was known for, it was very difficult for them to put that on an album. Well, when this format came out, the 33, he put it on this. And for whatever reason, it got lost. I don't know what happened to it. I think they might have released it, they may not have, but anyway, years later, someone uncovered this that had something to do with the studio and decided to reissue it because what they found on the records was just amazing. So they reissued it. Anyway, it is phenomenal. If you're into jazz, if you're not into jazz, you don't have to even be into jazz. Put it on, chill. This is the perfect time to do it because, you're not in a rush to go anywhere or do anything. Put it on, let it color your time, and you will think this is really, really good. I think this is like one of the best-selling remakes of vinyl in like the last 5 years or something. All right, so I'm going to show you two more here. Every video I ever do about vinyl always includes this. So if you watch any of these, you're going to notice that this is one of them. And here it is again, just in case. Rolling Stones, Exile Main Street, of their entire catalog, of which 99% of them are ridiculously good. This is my favorite. This is not a hits album. There's not a whole lot of like well-known hits on it. It doesn't matter. This is one of those, it's a double album. Put it on, have nowhere to go, because by the way, you don't. And put on a candle, I don't know, have a few drinks. This is a great sex album. This is a great chill and have a beer album. This is a great, if you like weed, you can do that. I mean, literally whatever you like to do in life, this is your album. Okay, this is my all-time Desert Island album by far. You put it on and it's a piece of art from first song all the way down to number 18, 19, whatever it is. Phenomenal. It's got Tumbling Dice on it. That's probably the most well-known song, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. But it's not one of those hit albums. It's meant to be listened to in its entirety. So if you don't have an hour and a half to listen to it, then don't ruin your experience. Put it on and don't have anywhere to go and just chill. Have a couple beers, whatever, have a conversation even, but just listen to it. You will understand what I mean. Again, Desert Island album, Quarantine album in this case. Lastly, now this is a treat because, A, this is very hard to find. So if you can find this, good to you. I mean, you can always, again, bring it up through iTunes or, stream it, and that's fine. You can do that. Kind of cheating, though. Kind of cheating. It should be in this record form, tactile. You should have to go find it. This is, I'm going to butcher his name, okay? Fela Ransom Kuti. Okay, so an African gentleman in the 70s. In fact, it was 1970 when they recorded this with Ginger Baker. Now, anybody who doesn't know who Ginger Baker is, he's one of the greatest, I'm not going to call him a rock drummer, I'm just going to call him a drummer because he was just as good as any jazzman. One of the greatest drummers of all time, famously played with Cream, with Clapton and Jack Bruce, but he's also had his own thing. But this is in 1970 when he went to play in Africa. He loved African music and he played with this guy, Kuti, and it's live. So there's the common theme again. I'm telling you, I don't know how to describe it. This is, the reason I found this album is because my cousin, who's also a big appreciator of music. In fact, he's influenced me a lot in music. We were drinking bourbon one night, and he put this on for me. And one of the guys that supplies him with the records, almost like his dealer, you know what I'm saying? Turned him on to this, and we both listened to it. He's like, dude, you gotta listen to this. So he puts it on, and man, for like 8 songs, I'm just blown away. I'm like, give me some more of that, and give me some more of the bourbon. And it's phenomenal. It's fantastic. If you like drum, if you like music, I mean, it's got obviously some African soul to it because it's African music. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. And during the quarantine, what he did, this is why not only is he a phenomenal cousin, but he's a great man, a great friend, and a great person, great human being, okay? And this exemplifies it. If I didn't need to say it before, I need to say it now. Great person for doing this. During the quarantine, he understands that, hey, I'm going to be inside a lot, right? I'm not going to be out partying and having a good time when I'm going to be inside. And I need some food for my soul, as we talked about. And he bought this, he purchased this for me through his dealer and had it shipped to me. And thanks to him. So, I thanked him then and I thank him now, and I'm sharing it with you. Check it out. Anyhow, hope you guys are doing well. Stay safe, not too safe, be a little dangerous. But hope you're doing well, and hopefully that'll help you spend some time doing quality things and not just spending time watching shitty movies. You know what I'm saying?